after weeks of anti-government protests against her rule. An influence peddling scandal caused Park Geun-hye's popularity to plummet. Now her powers have been suspended while a top court decides whether to uphold the motion and remove Park from office, or to reject it and reinstate her. Earlier, Jason Strother joined us from the South Korean capital with an update.
She is now handing over her powers to her prime minister, Mr. Hwang Kyo-an. He will step in as de facto president, assuming responsibilities such as overseeing the military, signing treaties. But there is expectation that there will be some power sharing between the prime minister and the National Assembly. Now, over the next up to 6 months, the Constitutional Court will be deciding whether or not this impeachment vote today was valid. So President Park, she will have no powers for the meantime. And if the court decides to uphold today's vote, then she will be back to civilian life and faces the possibility of criminal prosecution.
Well, do we have any indication, as you just mentioned, it will be about 6 months' time, roughly, for the Constitutional Court to decide. But could there be the fact that it could reject this and reinstate her?
Oh, absolutely. It's not necessarily up. It's up to 6 months. For example, in 2004, then President Roh Moo-hyun, he was also impeached, stripped of his powers. And about 2 months later, the Constitutional Court ruled that his impeachment did not violate the Constitution. And he resumed his job as president and carried it on until the end of his term in 2008.
Well, that being said, this is all very much a stunning fall from grace for the embattled leader.
It's certainly humiliating. She comes from a political dynasty. Her father, Park Geun-hye, was a military dictator who ruled South Korea for much of the 1960s up until 1979 when he was assassinated. And much of Miss Park's popularity came because she was the daughter of this strongman that many South Koreans, especially South Koreans who were around at that time to witness the economic miracle her father started back then, they gave her their support. But as this scandal has unraveled over the past couple of months, she lost all of that support. Her approval rating had sank to about 4%. She lost the confidence of her own party. And I mean, that showed today with about 60 members of the ruling Saenuri party voting to impeach her.